Hello and welcome back to a video on soccer match outcomes, this time using the Euro 2024 qualifier results from the 10 groups of teams, for which we have a total of 230 matches and a total of 115 pairs of teams, with the number of teams being 53. I am using this example to investigate the so-called home team advantage, which is a trend of relatively more home team wins than away team wins. My name is Jimmy Lepping. I'm a psychologist and statistician with a range of interests, including the prediction of soccer match outcomes and other events that can be predicted to some extent by statistical models. So here you see the frequencies of each number of goals in the 230 Euro 2024 qualifier group matches from the home team and away team. So this time sorted from least frequent on the left to most frequent on the right. In other words, for both home and away team, low numbers of goals occur much more frequently than higher numbers of goals. And when we calculate the proportion of matches in which a team scored at least one goal, we get just under 65% for the away team and just over 72% for the home team. Given that each team played against each other team in their group, both home and away, one might to some extent interpret this difference as a slight home team advantage. And when we look at the goal difference between teams, we observe a draw in 18.7% of the matches, a home team win in 46.1% of the cases, and an away team win in the remaining 35.2% of the cases. Although we see that extreme differences in favor of either team happen only in a few percent of the cases, all in all these statistics appear to hint at somewhat of a home team advantage. Now the question is how substantial the contribution of this home team advantage is to match outcomes. After all, although in each of these qualifier matches we have a clear home team and a clear away team, we have different teams in each match, and each pair of teams meet each other twice in reversed home-away order. So there are several factors which contribute to a more or lesser extent to the numbers of goals of home and away teams in the match. One factor contributing to match outcomes is that each team is different. In addition, each unique pair of teams may also increase or decrease the likelihood of more goals being scored in a match. For example, when two teams with relatively offensive strategies meet each other, more goals may be observed than when we have two teams with relatively defensive strategies and strong players in the defense. And the third factor is then the home team advantage. So what percentage of variance in number of goals of a team in a match is explained by each of these factors? So for this I ran a so-called 3-level Poisson regression model with pair level and team level random intercepts and added home versus away as fixed effect. I checked for pair and team level random slopes for home versus away, but those variances were very close to zero and not statistically significant, so no random slopes were added to the final model. In this model, the rationale behind the team level random intercept is that teams differ in their tendency to score goals, and the rationale between the pair level random intercept is that unique pairs of teams also contribute to differences in numbers of goals across matches. And what I found was, first of all, that differences between teams explain about 33% of the variance in the number of goals in a match. So about 1/3 of the variance is explained by differences at the team level. Next, differences between pairs of teams explain an additional 11% of the variance in the number of goals in a match, and the home versus away difference only explains about 2% of the variance in the number of goals in a match. This is to say that about 54% of the variance remains unexplained and is accounted for by factors that I did not include in my model. Among these unexplored factors we may find different situational factors such as more or less intensive activities of players, of certain teams in other competitions around a given match, such as Champions League activities for instance. In some cases perhaps weak incentives due to already having qualified or already knowing that the team can no longer qualify, strategy changes due to injuries of the specific players in the teams, and factors alike. But it is correct to say that the effect of a home team advantage is fairly small. Now, what if we are not interested primarily in predicting numbers of goals per team, but in the goal difference or in a probability of a given team winning? And what if the home advantage in other competitions is larger or smaller than observed for the Euro 2024 qualifiers? Or there is no clear home and away team, such as in most matches in the Euro 2024 tournament that is currently taking place. Well, one method I use for estimating the probabilities of each of three possible outcomes, Team A win, draw, or Team B win, is to use the previous series of matches per team, depending on the amount of comparable information available, either the previous 4 matches of each team or the previous 5 or 6 matches of each team. And I use that information to calculate different numbers of goal differences, and with it the aforementioned 3 probabilities. In the case of no clear home or away team, as is the case in short-term tournaments that take place in a relatively confined geographical region, such as now the Euro 2024 in Germany. It's not a multi-country tournament, it's all played in different stadiums in Germany. I simply use the series of matches as is, as one can see in an example that I will share in a minute. And in the case of a clear home and away team, as happens in most competitions, not only national competitions but also, for instance, the Champions League, Europe League, etc., I use the previous at least 4 but preferably 5 or 6 previous home matches of the home team in an upcoming match, and the same number of previous away matches of the away team in an upcoming match. This way I account for a potential home team advantage. And if you want to see an example of how I apply this method to the Euro 2024 tournament, on my channel you will find a video in which I explain how I predict the semi-final outcomes, and later this week I will upload another video for the prediction of the Euro 2024 final. I hope you find this useful. If you have any suggestions, any questions, feel free to leave a comment below the video. And if you are a soccer fan, I hope you enjoy the second Euro 2024 semi-final later today. For now, bye bye and catch up soon.